It's been 10 billion years since the women of Chicago became a thief for Gunri and Pyeongdong. But even now, when March comes, women in many countries around the world take to the streets.
맞습니다.
It is to happily find the true dignity, dreams, and happy life that is still eluding us. As was the case 100 years ago, even today, women are the targets of 1,000 generations of cruelty in capitalist society. Obviously, women are members of society just like men, but they are severely discriminated against in terms of labor rights. It is very difficult for women to get a job, and even if they do get a job, they are in an uncertain situation where they do not know when they will be fired. According to the militant legal group of Small Europe, more than 1 in 4 women are discriminated against in the workplace during pregnancy or after childbirth. The woman said she worked full-time when she was pregnant with her son out of fear of losing her job. However, after my postnatal leave ended, I ended up getting fired.
People tend to feel like you are not as focused or dedicated. I don't agree with that. I don't think that because you are a mother or because you are pregnant that you are any less efficient as an employee.
Women are subject to severe discrimination, such as losing their hard-earned jobs and being ignored for promotions at work because they have children. What is even more serious is that they are unable to say a word of protest against such unfair treatment. This is because filing a complaint can only lead to job creation, let alone fair treatment. The severe discrimination against women is also evident in the fact that they are inevitably paid lower wages, even though they work the same jobs as men. Recently, the average wage of female workers in the United States is about 76% of that of men, and in Australia, the average wage gap is 17%, and in Italy, the gap is as high as 16%. These extreme acts of discrimination against women are creating approximately 1.5 billion poor women around the world. It is creating maternal poverty. The current situation in capitalist society is creating a heartbreaking tragedy in which women are unable to even have their most sacred right, the right to motherhood. The fact that the vast majority of women do not receive professional medical help during childbirth because they cannot bear the heavy costs of childbirth is a clear sign of trust. According to official data from the Jimba region in recent years, 1 in 3 mothers gives birth without receiving help from an obstetrician, and as a result, many women are losing their lives during childbirth. According to a study conducted on the current situation in a country in Asia with the highest rate of liver egg mortality in the world, the cause is that the majority of pregnant women suffer from chronic malnutrition and poor fetal development. This situation is not reported even in European countries that boast of development and civilization.
Maternity Action has been calling for action on pregnancy discrimination in the workplace for at least 5 years now. It's an enormous concern to us that since the economic downturn, this situation has become much worse.
In European countries, women's childbirth costs reach up to $10,000, and daily hospitalization costs alone reach up to $1,200. So the vast majority of women with meager incomes are in deep debt for childbirth costs. Also, even after giving birth to children, there is a huge burden on raising them. As a result, it is becoming a trend in capitalist countries for women not to have children, and tragic phenomena such as throwing away even the children they gave birth to in the trash are occurring one after another. The explosive increase in violence against women and violations of human rights in capitalist society is also raising serious international concerns. In the Western world, including the United States, where freedom and human rights are threatened every time one opens one's mouth, women are the prime victims of human rights violations. In November 2013, in a country in small Europe, an incident occurred in which 3 women were imprisoned for 30 years and forced to rape and murder them, shocking people. Regarding this, one official said,
I think it took enormous courage and bravery to pick up the phone, because actually people become institutionalised even to slavery, and it's a very brave thing they've done, but they're doing as well as we can expect them to. They were held in very difficult situation, and
living for 30 years is completely hospitable.
I think
they're about something spiritual, resigned, and slavery.
Incidents of violence against women that are constantly occurring around the world, such as the fact that in May 2013, 3 women were kidnapped in the United States for 10 years, locked in their home, used as a sex ring, and assaulted, reveal the true nature of a capitalist society in which women's human rights are trampled. This shows it well. In capitalist society, women are victims of violent crimes, even at home. According to survey data recently released by the European Council, 12% to 15% of women in Europe are victims of violent crime, with an average of 1 woman every 3 days in France and 2 women a week in the UK. It is said that people are losing their lives due to violent crimes. In this way, the crime of violence against women, which is prevalent in capitalist society, is ruthlessly destroying the minds and bodies of countless women. George, who is envious of women withering away as victims of the system, pointlessly shows the intentionality, deception, and anti-people nature of a capitalist society that destroys freedom and equality. The reality of women's rights and dreams being trampled upon is forcing women to embark on a struggle to find power and equality and to change the bulky capitalist system itself.
This is Jikan Kim from NBC News.